Everybody ready? Yeah! All right, now here we go. A one, a two, a one,
Let's get it on. Half of you guys are happy and half of you are sad. It's the Get Sunday Covered podcast. And regardless of your emotional state right now, we're happy to have you back for another glorious episode. I'm your host, Cody, and I'm with my best buds in the world, Brandon and Jordan. Guys, which one is it? Are you happy or are you sad?
We're all down in the dumps this week, eh?
Yeah, all three of us lost from what I saw. Um, I went 50% on the weekend, so feel good about that. But yeah, I never feel good just losing. It's better than losing every league, but just losing in general sucks. So I'm kind of indifferent about it, I guess.
I went 3-4
I'm
and I
with you,
lost
dude.
in both my money leagues. But I did beat Cody in one league. So I got the bragging rights in best ball right now.
That's the thing, right? Is like, I think we're all excited to have football back, but is there anything worse than like losing week one? You spend all these months building up to this, like this is when it becomes real, and then all of a sudden you lose 7 of 9 leagues. Somebody did that. Might have been me. Just sucks, dude. It sucks so bad. But I'm trying not
Ouch.
to panic. Are you guys panicked? How are you guys feeling?
Um I'm not panicking yet. If I go if I pull a Sheamus and I'm starting the season 0-3, that might be the time where I hit the panic button.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not panicking. I knew figured injuries were gonna play a factor in the week one. Guys not living up to expectations. Um, it's week one, so it's really too early to call anything unless someone's injured and they're going to be out the next, couple weeks. But other than that, no, I'm not too worried till we get to week 3 or 4, get a little bit more settled in.
You guys are stronger men than I am. I'm panicking on all fronts. I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. But we are going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to talk about a little bit about injuries, kind of dip into some waiver wires and things of that nature. But really, guys, if you want to get a good understanding of who you should be targeting on your waiver wire, I know a lot of waiver wires are processing tonight. It is Tuesday night, September 10th. But if they're not, go ahead and check out some other podcasts, maybe like the Fantasy Footballers, Fantasy Football Today, things of that nature. Get your waiver wire knowledge up and get ready for week two. So week two of the NFL season, guys, I want to jump in with a quick question for you. We got a chance to check out the varsity squad this weekend, the A team. Let's hear it. Who is your way too early pick for NFL MVP this year? Not fantasy MVP. Who's winning it for the NFL?
Jordan?
Um, I was going to go with your guy before. I think Lamar Jackson. I mean, with Derrick Henry, I think that's going to help him at the goal line, save him maybe getting hurt there if he does, kind of gets some running yards and hits those passes, gets his completion percentage up, especially if Isaiah likely comes into a role and Mark Andrews does come back. If you got two tight ends, it could be New England days with Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez back in the day. But I don't know, I'm feeling good about Lamar this year. Tough saying that as a Steelers fan, but um, I don't know. He's a great player. He is that team. So I think he has a chance to get another MVP.
Yeah, I definitely
Who, real quick, Brandon, before you jump in, who was the last person to go back to back NFL MVP?
Brady.
Negative. Jordan, do you know that?
Back to back MVPs.
Yeah.
I I would say Peyton Manning, but I know it's not right.
Aaron Rodgers, 2020, 2021.
That was my next
Wow.
guess.
Damn.
I was gonna say it's
Alright.
gonna be A-Rod now.
I
Well,
was looking at the list and it's actually a lot longer than I thought it was. So,
Hmm.
Brandon, who you got?
I'm gonna throw one out of left field here that might be not at everyone's top of the list. I know who you guys had, so I'm gonna go with Baker. Baker is balling right now.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Baker's dozen.
Yeah, he's up to what, like 7 games in a row where he's just been lighting it up.
He got that
looks good,
contract
man.
and he's getting that money. I mean, uh, he's definitely proven that he's better than I would say probably half, if not, he's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
I saw a meme the other day that cracked me up so bad. It was talking about this would happen to the Cleveland Browns where Baker leaves and he goes 1-1 in the playoffs and becomes a 3,500-yard passer or something like that. And then they're stuck with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, paying him all that money.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
Cleveland
Yeah,
fans, man.
Who you
tough
got?
sledding.
Brutal.
Yeah, they.
So I'm gonna go outside of the quarterback position. I'm going Saquon, man. I think this is something that should have happened to Saquon 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Get onto a team that understands his abilities and are actually willing to utilize it. And it's not only is it a good system, but a good offensive line. I loved it, man. He came out and he went bonkers on week 1. I would love to see some more of that. And I think it'd be sick. A non-quarterback MVP. Give me Saquon, dude.
I want to say the last non-quarterback MVP would have been Peterson, Adrian Peterson, when he came back from his knee injury. I think 2013, 2012. I think that was the last running back. It's kind of one of those things. It's hard if it's almost like the Heisman. You got to do something special to beat a quarterback, and which I'm all for a defensive player or a wide receiver or running back that's completely changing the game. Which I feel like there's been some, and they don't get enough love. They don't get paid enough. There's linemen that are getting paid more than a lot of these running backs. So it's unfortunate to see these guys not get rewarded. They're a dime a dozen, which is unfortunate. So when you get ones like Saquon that is just one of those good fantasy backs and a good running back in general, it's a great addition for Philadelphia, and I hope they utilize him like they did game 1.
Doing a good job of showing off your football knowledge, Jordan. It is Adrian Peterson. Bonus points if you can tell me what year he did that.
It was 2012.
I was gonna say
Yep.
2012.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah,
gonna say I think he got injured in 2011, tore that ACL, came back and almost got the 2,000 yards, like
You
19.
didn't already say that, did you? You didn't already say 2012?
I did. I said it was 2012 or 2013 or 28.
I
Yeah,
was probably
2012
too
or
busy looking it up while you said that.
yeah.
Sorry.
I knew it was around that time though. So
Yeah. Well, good call. I like it. Baker, Lamar Jackson, our picks, NFL MVP 2024. Obviously, way too early to really be talking about that. But let's move it along. Brandon, let's get us started, man. A lot of people getting broken. Week 1, man. Happens every year.
Yeah, definitely some key injuries this last weekend, week 1. Jordan Love out at least 4 weeks. I did hear a rumor he might play this weekend.
No way.
I doubt it, but I think they're doing it just to keep the Colts kind of guessing, per se. Puka.
Did you guys see the video of his knee? Like the
Oh,
up close
yeah.
where you see it pop?
yeah.
I thought he was done. So
I thought he was
for
done
him to be
just as
listed
much
at
as Chubb
4
last year.
weeks, dude, it looked gnarly. It reminded me of the Kevin Durant video a few years ago in the finals where you just see his Aaron Rodgers last year, game 1,
Yeah.
where you just see
Just
it
see it
pow.
pop. See
Nick
the
Chubb,
injury
I'm,
happen.
like,
I'm glad to hear it wasn't that bad.
yeah, Puka out at least 4 weeks. headed to IR. David Njoku week to week. Jake Ferguson kind of up in the air. No one knows quite yet what the extent is. And then, there was quite the controversy last night with Monday night.
The
Christian
Madden curse
McCaffrey.
is real.
Christian McCaffrey, man.
And he was a consensus number one. I think like the last time he was a consensus number one was with Carolina, and it was bad things. I'm not trying to put any knock on him, but it's like, man, everyone's excited to get this CMC at number one. I got the number one pick. Everyone's taking CMC, and this is what happens week one. And his backup comes in, and Jordan Mason goes off.
How many people lost a matchup last night because CMC didn't play?
Yeah, potentially in my league, my own league, I was playing a guy who had CMC and George Kittle. Granted, he needed 40 points, but as soon as CMC went down, and I try to console him and be like, man, you're not. Think about every other fantasy league. Everybody drafted Christian McCaffrey, first pick, should have. And I was like, you're not the only one mad come Monday Night Football after everyone's already played. Which, if you were out there and you're able to pick up Jordan Mason before the game, good for you. And he had a great game for you to fill in for CMC.
Which, shout out Brandon, by the way. Brandon sniffed this about a week ago, just shortly after our draft. He went ahead and picked up Jordan Mason, so he wasn't even available in our league, which could possibly be the hottest waiver wire pickup of this week, honestly, because it sounds like CMC might not be ready for next week either.
No, it sounds like he's not going to play.
Yeah,
From what I've heard, it sounds like they're going to give him some rest for now. I'm openly curious what your guys' thoughts are. You think you think if CMC is ready to come back, you think they're going to just give him a full load, or you think they're going to try and split it?
I'd say it's probably
Dude, I
close
don't know.
Oh, go ahead, Cody.
No, please go ahead.
I was going to say I'd say 60-40, 70-30, but after what you saw Mason do last night, like, man, keep CMC healthy. Like, don't run him into the ground. Like, save him for the playoffs, like when you absolutely need him. And
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Because a lot of teams are running like two running backs, like kind of a lot. I thought Dallas was going to do it more. But there's teams out there. The Titans, with Tony Pollard, he's not a very big back. Yeah, the Chargers. Even the Raiders. There's no one that's so, like, other than CMC. I feel like over the past couple of years, maybe other than Derrick Henry, there hasn't been like a true number one guy. Like, there's usually guys getting split carries. So I think it's going to benefit both those guys and going to benefit San Francisco in the long run to split that time.
Well, here's the thing. We talked about it at the top of the show. Like, who's your way too early bet for the MVP? Christian McCaffrey was in the MVP conversation last year. You know why? Because they ran the shit out of him. And love it or hate it, he's getting old, man. He's getting old for the league. He's 28. And, these things are going to keep happening. So I agree. I think they should, if Jordan Mason's going to keep running the way that he is, there's no reason to give Christian McCaffrey that type of target share and workload, especially if you're trying to go for a late postseason run. Personally, I don't think San Francisco is going to make it deep into the postseason. I really don't. But I mean, if you've got a guy like Christian McCaffrey and you're paying him what you're paying him, better keep him healthy.
I mean, CMC practically makes one game check, and it's the same amount as Mason and Purdy
for their salary.
For their salary for the year.
Yep.
His one game is what, 940, and theirs for the year is 985. Like,
yeah,
it's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, if Brock has another good year, his salary is not going to look like that for long.
No,
but
he'll get an extension for sure, I think. But they say he's just a system quarterback.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going to dive into that. I tend to agree a little bit.
I think we all can agree on that
You
somewhat.
put Russell Wilson into that system, he's going to be successful.
Yeah.
I think you put anyone in with the plethora of players that you have on that team. I mean, you have
Except for maybe Daniel Jones. Can we just take a second
Hey,
and say how bad he is?
Can we say how bad Bryce Young is? I mean, granted, it's
who-
his second year, but dude,
I mean, their team ain't very good. The Giants, they're not very good. I mean, there's not very many talented guys around them. There's a lot of quarterbacks' careers that have been ruined because they were great college players and they come into the NFL and you just don't have anyone around you to help. So
Yeah.
I feel for him. I want to see him do good. It just makes for more parity around the league. But yeah, they're bad. There's no.
just start the Drew Lock chant now if you're a Giants fan. All I can say. That's all I can say.
Give him another shot.
I mean, he clearly is better than Daniel Jones, and just at this point, you might as well just do what the Broncos did and eat the cash because God, Daniel Jones just sucks.
Yep. Time to move on.
He does, dude. It's so bad. Even his own fans are heckling him, asking him for money.
Burning jerseys.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
That's rough, man.
that's I
rough.
can assure you, that's one team you just. I'm not interested in watching them at all. I don't
No.
even care. I mean, it'd be different if Saquon was still there or whatever, but they let their best player go, and good on Saquon, man. Like he's I'm sure
He's gangster.
laughing.
And going to a rival team.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Now you get to play him twice a year and shove it in their
That's what I'm
face.
saying. He should have gotten out of New York a long time ago.
I'm sure he's going to go into MetLife Stadium whatever week they do play, and he'd probably be telling Nick Sirianni, "Give me the ball." Like,
Oh yeah,
let
put up
me,
an Alvin Kamara
yeah,
Christmas game.
yeah. Say this is why you guys want to play Daniel Jones over me. Well, this is why I left town. So, yeah, good for him. So yeah, but Giants are bad. I'm not looking forward to watching any of their primetime games if they're on any.
I did want to ask though, a couple of months ago, we had this episode where we talked about the best new jerseys. And one of my votes was the new Giants jerseys, the Centennial jersey. You didn't like them on field.
Dude, if there's any hockey fans watching out there, the memes of the Montreal Canadiens,
Habs.
like hockey has not started yet. What were the Giants doing? I thought they were hideous. Like, I get it; it's cool to do it for 1 year with
Those
your
things are disgusting.
100th year season. So, it's
I didn't
cool
hate
in
them.
that way. I just don't like them. They're hideous, dude. They're
Okay.
ugly.
I don't
The
know.
helmets are a Michigan knockoff, and they look like the Montreal Canadiens, like Jordan said. I didn't know we were playing hockey in September.
Yep, I
And the
agree.
tan pants make them look like they're naked. That was a comment I got from one of my Giants friends.
They're ugly, bro. I mean, I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
I didn't hate them.
I
didn't
think
hate them.
I think if they just weren't, if they would have just done the red instead of all the blue in the middle, making it look like the Canadians, it might have been different. But
yeah.
not a fan. Yeah, I mean, it's
Fair
just
enough.
ugh. But let's
So which was worse, the Giants or the Giants jerseys?
how about just the Giants overall?
Organization.
All of them?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Move along. All right. So week 1 is in the books. We've all taken our lumps, taken our bruises. We've come to the conclusion that we are all 3 sad. I want to know, what's your biggest takeaway from week 1 and how does that correlate to fantasy?
I'll start with this. So I think my biggest takeaway is this year is going to be a struggle for a lot of points, scoring wise. And I think that is going to transpire fantasy wise to a lot of roster shifting. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at who's playing who and trying to target guys on certain teams if they can pick them up off the wire or if they have them stashed. If you have someone on your bench playing, Detroit one week, not utilizing them, or they're playing the 49ers, not playing them that week versus them, another player on your bench playing someone like the Giants or the Panthers or even the Saints. I think, in that aspect, using kind of that gauge, I think it's just going to be a lot of roster shifting this year for starters to bench. A lot of teams are going to be shifting players around continuously.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I already feel like it's kind of starting already to happen week one, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of, I don't know, I feel like there's going to be a lot of kind of how you were saying with points kind of being hard to come by. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that maybe aren't on fantasy rosters getting points for guys. So I could see how, I don't know, it could be tough this year for being spread pretty thin on players. But kind of into my point about week one is, I think I even made a comment about this when we were when we did the draft and we were talking about our draft about Caleb Williams going to the Bears and how many players from the Bears went in the draft. Like 4 or 5 players from the Bears are on fantasy teams. So I think it's got to be the most in some time. So I feel like there's a lot of people relying on Caleb Williams to distribute that ball to some Bears guys and get them points because, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, all these guys were, I'm sure, drafted in every league. So there's a lot of people out there, including me,
You mean
hoping.
the Cole Kmet that was kept in our league and then dropped?
Yeah, that Cole Kmet over Sam Laporta. That's the same Cole Kmet. Um, but I don't know. We'll see. I was talking with Brandon about this earlier. It's his first game, maybe his first game jitters. I don't care who you are. You're going to get nervous. Um, your first ever NFL game. So hopefully it was just nerves and he comes out this week and turns it around and makes a bunch of Chicago fantasy owners happy other than their defense.
Their defense is nasty, dude. It's nasty. And you know what? I watched all of Hard Knocks and I should have known that because they focused a lot on that and they are good, man. So
Montez Sweat, man. He's really good.
yeah. Yeah. But I agree, man. I agree. For me, I think, Brandon, this kind of ties into yours a little bit too. I think just scoring overall is going to be down this year. We've spent the last couple of years with these powerhouse offenses that nobody can seem to figure out how to stop. And, the Kansas Cities and the Detroits and things of that nature where, they're putting up 35, 40 points a game. Maybe that's inaccurate, but they're fun, exciting offenses to watch. And just based off of week one, obviously we'll see how it looks in week 4 or week 5. But in my opinion, I think scoring is going to be down. And for your fantasy team, I think it's really going to come down to the precise management, Brent, kind of like you said, of playing the right matchups and making the right moves and not being afraid to switch up that team that you're so passionate about, the guys that you drafted and the guys that, that you're really interested in, that you want to see do well. Realistically, this year, I don't think that that's going to work. You know what I mean? You can't really invest so much hope into your fantasy players like maybe you could before.
Yeah. No.
That's how I feel after
100%.
week one.
So I did see a topic. I was watching Pat McAfee earlier today, and even Aaron Rodgers was kind of like, points are going to be down this year. It's going to be tougher for offenses to score with all the changes that they made defensive wise and everything like that.
Yep.
And all the rule changes. There were a ton of illegal
formations,
formations
so
and
many
stuff like that.
flags.
I mean, there were just the Ravens had 5, and then there were another 15 throughout the weekend. I mean, there were over 20 just this weekend alone. So curious to see what happens there. But yeah.
I agree. And as we transition into our next topic, guys, we're going to talk about some of the duds that we had this week on all of our teams, some really big names here. I mean, I'm looking at the list now and we're talking 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, at least 12 guys, big name guys that really kind of broke fantasy teams this week. I did want to throw out kind of a fun fact. I did some stat digging just for our league personally because I was curious about it. Um, Jordan, did you know that 13 of the first 20 players drafted in our league this year, that's the first few rounds, 10-team league, 13 of the first 20 players drafted scored 12 or less fantasy points this week?
That honestly doesn't surprise me because I think about some of those names. I had one guy, my draft pick, thank goodness, wasn't one of those guys. Justin Jefferson didn't have the best game, didn't have his worst game, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. It just seems to go like that every year. That everyone's so hyped for these guys in the first round, and it's just like they didn't show up week one. You better show up week two. Like I could have got someone off of
Yeah.
waivers that Isaiah Likely would have outscored my whole team. My whole team, like come on. So
Yeah. Yeah. So Brandon, I'm not sure if you heard that, but the stat that I just gave, 13 of the first 20 players taken in the GSC main draft, 10 teams, so 10 for the first round, 10 for the second round. 13 of those players scored 12 or less fantasy points. That's down almost 4 points from last year.
That's fucking ridiculous. But I mean, what what's going
That's
on?
what I mean. It's
Like
it's changing, right? They're starting to figure this out. It's
it's
the high powered slinging it, putting up touchdowns a game. I don't think it's going to happen this year, man. These are going to be some knockout, drag down, knockdown, drag out, knockout, drag down. Can you guys
all the
help me with
same.
that one? Which one is it?
I
It's all
like
the
them both.
same.
Yeah, I don't even know now. You got me mixed up.
It's
got me
it's
jumbled
not
all
going to be
over the
those types of
place.
like. I think scoring is going to be down, and obviously 1 week of data is not enough for this to hold any weight. But for these big names, we're going to talk about some of them: Amon-Ra, Drake London, DK Metcalf, stuff like that. Duds, right? So I don't know. We'll see. Expand on that a little bit. Is it a week one thing, or is this something that we're going to see trending?
I I think it's week one thing. Um, I don't know. It's kind of you kind of brought it up earlier, Cody, about you know everyone's looking forward to week one. You're so pumped up, and then like us, we all lose. You've been waiting for this for 8 months, whatever, 9 months to get back into fantasy and play again. How do you think these players feel coming out and putting that dud on the field after waiting this long in the off season? Especially some of
That's
these
a
dudes
very
getting
good point.
contracts. It's like you're getting paid, man. Like yeah, maybe if you're at training camp, you might have made a catch, Brandon Ayuk. But so it's
That was a drop and a half,
yes,
bud.
it was. That was
I sent that in the group chat.
perfectly placed ball by Purdy. So, but no, I just think it's week one. But yeah, I think it starts getting into week four with some of these guys. I look at Terry McLaurin. Me and you, I kind of talked about him. I have him. I I don't. I have him in one of my leagues. You have him in the other one. And I'm in a league, both leagues with Cody, and I did not play him this week just because I was worried about Jane McDaniels, a rookie quarterback. Um, and it paid off. Not that the guy I played him for got, I think Zamir White got like 4 points, so it was around the same. But I think it's just a feeling out process, especially with some of these young quarterbacks, um, guys on new teams and stuff. But some of these guys you might be worried about. Mark Andrews is the guy I look at that Isaiah Likely might be the
You're
main
worried
tight
about Mark
end.
Andrews.
What's that?
I said you're worried about Mark Andrews.
I am. Yep. I would be worried if you have Mark
100%.
Andrews, um, DeAndre Swift, Brandon. I know you have him.
Yep.
I'd be worried just because I feel like Williams is going to run some, and there's so many people. I'm worried about DJ Moore. There's so many guys, and I feel like
So let me
Chicago's
ask
one
you.
of
Let
the.
me ask you this then. I want to talk about some of these big names that are on our list here. We've got Amon-Ra, Drake London, DK Metcalf, Dalton Kincaid, for example, Mark Andrews, Chris Olave. At what point do you feel like your concern gets to a level where it's time to make a move? Like how long into the season are you going to let this type of stuff happen?
I'm
Like if
willing.
they come out week 2 and they give a repeat performance, are you trading, dropping?
No.
I think it depends on who it is. Like, I'll be honest. Obviously, I know this is coming out tomorrow. So I'm prepared to drop DeAndre Swift. There's plenty of other running backs available that I think are better. Now, I've rode DeAndre Swift for the last 2 years, but I think there's other people out there that are better. I don't know it. That offense, I don't know if I can trust Caleb Williams. I just don't think I need Swift. I think if I shoot myself in the foot, so be it. But I don't think I need him. Like Javante,
So let's shoot
if I'm
shoot
a
out
Javante owner, I would be targeting probably Jaleel. I would
I'm telling you right now, I'm dropping to Javante.
like it. There's if
Yep.
the only one of these guys that you maybe hold on to running back wise is probably Zamir White, which I'm gonna do.
So let me give you
agree.
this example. Let's say St. Brown
Okay.
comes out where we're 3 weeks in. I'll even give you 4 weeks in. He hasn't given you more than 15 points.
I'm shooting a trade offer.
You're not dropping Jordan.
I'm never dropping him. No,
I'm
I
not
will
dropping him. I might.
ever.
I'll get trades for him, but I'm not dropping Amon.
I'll be looking at that list. Maybe him, maybe DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman might be the only guys on that list. Like I'm gonna ride them. Like you might be riding my bench for 9 weeks out of the year, but I'm gonna ride you because I drafted you high, and you should. Maybe it's just stubbornness, but some of these high picks I won't mind getting rid of. Like Brandon said, kind of situation. Yeah, DeAndre Swift. Yeah, I'm worried. Zamir White. Like I said, I think he is the main back in Vegas. He had more carries, 2 less catches than Madison. So
To touch on that, Madison's wife had a kid as they were playing on Sunday. So, I mean,
Really?
yeah.
he shouldn't have been there.
So he should have even been there for one, but two,
Damn.
like I
Hey,
think
you got to pay for that kid somehow.
Right.
I think that's
Just told him to get out to the field and
yeah.
don't
He
worry
had
about
something
me
to
type
run
thing.
for, right?
So, I mean, good for him. I mean, he did decent in Minnesota up till last year and get another chance in Vegas. So we'll see what happens. But I think if you got Zamir White, I'd hold on to him. Maybe not start him this week. See what happens. It's not the greatest offense in Vegas, but Gardner Minshew could come out and have some games this year. So you could get some big points in some of those
You can
games.
sing it.
So, especially with the division they're in, there should be a lot
There's
of points put up.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity for sure. I
I
mean,
don't,
like another running back, Gus Edwards. Adios. See ya. I'm going and picking up JK.
yeah.
They say that they're going to ride the hot hand. I'm sorry, but JK was eons ahead of Gus. Like night and day in terms when you looked
Yeah.
at the
He
comparison.
looked good.
JK was looking
I'm just
phenomenal.
real
and
quick.
Just that's
You
where my
kind
head's
of
at.
threw me off a little bit. Can you what is an eon? What is that?
Just like
I don't know what that means. Is that a lot? Obviously, I know it's a lot, but what is an eon?
it is an indefinite or very indefinite.
You look it up in the dictionary, it just
I
says a
did.
shit ton.
That exactly. A fuckload better. Let's just say that. J.K. Dobbins looked
He did look good.
so good. And, obviously he's returning just like Aaron Rodgers from an Achilles. So I,
That's,
I think he
uh,
looked great. And whoa.
cor- correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that back to back years for J.K. Dobbins? He tore his ACL the year before with the Ravens
Mhm.
and then tore his Achilles. So I'm rooting for the guy. I'd pretty sure he went to Ohio State. I don't like Ohio State. So it's good to see him being healthy and getting a chance again though in the NFL, and good for him. And hopefully he can be part of the rebuild there with Harbaugh and LA, the Chargers. So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, I'll just say that the Raiders screwed me on my survivor pick. Chargers got him. So
Yeah, dude. Well, at least so I'm in a big survivor pool, like 5,000 plus people. And on Saturday, my dad and I were in this pool together and we were just chit chatting about it. And I was like, "Oh, who you taking this week?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm taking Seattle. I don't trust the Broncos. Broncos are going to lose. I got Seattle." And I was like, and then he asked me and he goes, "Who'd you take?" And I said, "I have Cincinnati right now, but I have this weird feeling that New England's going to pull out a win and I'm switching to Miami." I'm happy I switched, but I will say
yeah.
I was still stressing with the Miami game. And we were out at, a carnival on Sunday afternoon during the witching hour. And my dad's like, we're out with my parents and taking the kiddos and just, letting Theo go on rides and just kind of getting him all, having a good weekend, family weekend. And my dad looks at me and he goes, "You better be happy you switched your pick because 1,500 people just dropped out of this 5,000 person league or pool
Damn.
because they've all had Cincinnati. Cincinnati was picked by everyone." And I was like, "God." So I was happy with that. Yeah, you got knocked out in our free survivor pool. Um, if you're not part of our pick'ems, I mean, you can jump in now. You never know. You can make them. I've seen it. You can miss a week and come right back into the standings. I've seen people go on some crazy streaks where they're winning 14, 15 games a week and they're only losing one or two. So still time to join if you haven't already. Go into our Facebook club, get Sunday Covered Fantasy Football Club, join with the
Well,
link.
let's chat about some of those. We'll jump in for that Pick'ems pool. Big shout out to Seven Ace, Whitney C33, and Carney 1611 13 correct picks on the week.
Wow.
We're looking at a pool of over 20 members. That's not too bad for us.
Total pool is 21, yeah.
Yeah, so good on you guys. How are
You
your
and I.
other leagues doing with the club?
Yeah, so I run the Mountain West. I'm a little upset. I had the second highest scoring week and I played the guy that was the highest scorer. It's the way it fucking goes for
That's the
me
worst, dude.
all the time, man. So
That is the worst.
We've all
um
been there.
yeah, I mean, I had
Too many
Saquon,
times.
I had Brees, like I was people that really just killed me the most was freaking Kincaid in that league. So, it is what it is, but we'll see what happens. Definitely gonna hit the waiver wire. Already have. And then also our Reaper League. Cody, I'm gonna be honest, I'm going back to back in that league. If as long as I
No, you're
don't
not.
lose anyone, I'm pretty freaking confident I'm going back to back in that league.
Your team does look good.
My team looked
Jordan, you got to jump in the Reaper,
good.
man. It's so much fun.
Maybe since I'm only doing two, I'll hop into a third. Probably handle one more. But yeah, like I
Well,
said,
when
three's
you come in
ideal.
last in GSC this year, you'll be the Reaper.
Ha ha ha. Who's ahead of you right now?
Reaper right now is Wit.
Uh,
She
Exactly.
actually didn't. I'm gonna say it. Whitney put up more points in our Reaper League than I did in our main league, and she had waiver wire only pickups.
ouch.
Fucking
Yeah.
Ouch, dude.
brutal.
Rough week
I don't
one.
know if I ever would have said that on air, man. That's fucking embarrassing.
Just means, I mean, no one on my team showed up.
Yeah.
All
Nobody.
right. So do you have her team pulled up? Who she have?
Oh, yeah, let me. So she
So for
had,
you guys that are listening, our Reaper League, she drafted literally like people that weren't rostered, right? She had to put together a team strictly on the waiver wire. So let's hear this.
all right. So her team, Jared Goff, Jaleel McLaughlin, Jerome Ford, Josh Palmer,
None of these people were owned.
Jamison Williams,
God, dude.
Rashid Shaheed,
They all had big games.
Fryermuth, Taysom Hill, Andre Iosivas, and
Yoshivas.
the Bengals deep. Her bench, she has Tyrone Tracy, Gus Edwards, Rico Dowdle, Donnie Mitchell, Jacoby Myers, Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah, she's not fucking around in the Reaper League.
No. And
Yeah.
she'll have Mason on her roster at 1 a.m.
Oh yeah.
All she has to do is for she is the only person with fab in this league. So she has $100 in fab. All she has to do is put $1 and she gets any player she wants. That's part of the Reaper. She can pick up anyone, and I'm sure that's someone she'll pick up. If not, I would be shocked.
Yeah, I agree.
Guess we'll find out in the morning.
Jordan, how's GSC Colorado coming?
It's going good actually. I won week one in there against our defending champion Hans. I said he ran into some
Oh,
bad luck
Hans.
having CMC. So tough luck for him. Yeah, if you heard that right, defending champion, and he got our first overall pick, getting CMC. But yeah, I won. I was actually talking to a buddy from work today that's in the league. Shout out to Timmy K. Um, I was like, dude, what a crazy draft you had. He had the ninth pick. First round, he goes Cooper Cup, and on the turn, he goes Saquon Barkley. Like, man, what a first week you had between those two guys. Like,
Honestly.
65 points between the two. So good for him. And like I was telling him, I was like, Cooper Cup just looks even better now with Puka Nakua out. So
Yep.
good drafting for him. If he ever does watch this or is listening, I hope he doesn't win. Me and him finished 9th and 10th in my league and missed the playoffs last year. So hopefully we both make the playoffs this year. But no, started out pretty competitive, no super close games or anything. So I don't know. I'd rather probably have that than losing by less than a point, like some of the pictures I saw. So
I just
Yeah,
want to say
dude.
there's a reason leagues don't have kickers because of Jake Moody, what he did last night.
or Chris Boswell for the Steelers, 6 field goals each. Like,
Yeah.
it can completely change a game. Yeah. No kickers in
Shout
my
out
league.
Stefan, by the way, aka Choking Hazard. Let's get him talking about kickers again. This man absolutely hates kickers. If
He
you guys don't
loves
get
them.
that, run it back to some of our earlier episodes. We have an interview with Stefan, and he does not like kickers. And we don't play with kickers either. And quite frankly, we don't think you should. So 1-0, Jordan. 0-1, Brandon. Jump into Pacific Northwest. I am 1-0. Dominant victory for me. Let's call it 131. Call it 130 to 84. Kind of a beatdown, but I'll be honest, it's a 12-man league. So we had a lot of auto drafted teams, a couple of managers that aren't as invested in as others. So I'm not taking a ton of pride into that, which it is what it is. But I want to touch on two things about this league. It's a lot of fun. And we're getting to the point where the group chat is a little bit more engaging and funny. But the defending champion, her name's Michelle. She's from Portland. She's won it the last 2 years in a row.
She wouldn't have won
And
it last year. I fucked myself.
yeah, yeah.
All
She
I had to do was get a tight end in, and I think who I had someone that didn't play, and I lost by like a point. And if I would have
well, I
picked
want to let you know the rest of us are out for your vengeance, my friend.
good,
We have collectively decided that there is no way we're gonna let this girl win this again. She's a great gal, and she knows what she's doing. She's very good at fantasy football, and it's been really cool to see a female come in here and show these boys what's up when it comes to fantasy football. That being said, she let's see, she lost week one, failed to make 100 points. So that's a good start for everybody. But the other thing that I wanted to mention about this league that I think has made it so fun, shout out Wu-Tang Forever. We had him on the show a couple months ago. Welcome back, Joey. Team name Wu-Tang Forever. He is only speaking in Wu-Tang quotes in the group chat. And it is the greatest thing
Oh, that's awesome.
that I've ever seen. It's so funny. And it's my understanding that he's going to keep this going all year long. And I'm letting you guys know right now that this is A+ content for your group chat. Just
Impressive.
trolling people, talking smack. It's great, but it's going well. We've got a new member from the club up here from Idaho that's joined this league. So I look forward to meeting him. And I don't know. We'll see, man. 1-0. I'm taking it this year.
not in
You're-
main league. You can take it in your,
Not after
in your
this week. I'm
regional,
not.
but I don't think any of us are. Yeah,
Steven looks good in the main league,
Steve-
dude.
I got my ass whooped.
Dude, I'm
Say
telling
it
you,
with-
I wrote it up. I wrote it up in our league chat. He's not the same Cortland Sutton from last year. This team looks good, in my opinion.
This team is nasty for sure. We'll see what happens. See what happens.
All right, Jordan, what do you
Yeah.
got for us?
Well, we did last week. We talked about our games of the week, and I thought the Thursday night game maybe ended up, it was kind of never, everyone kind of forgot about it with the rest of the games, but that might have been the game of the week the way that ended.
I
Isaiah
thought it was
Likely
great.
almost tying it up, almost going OT first game. Yeah, you could say the NFL scripted after watching that type of game, but it was entertaining.
It wouldn't have gone to OT.
Well, they would have had to kick the field goal or
Yeah, they
gone
were
for
going.
two.
Well, they were
So,
going for
yeah,
two.
Baltimore was committed going
Yeah.
for two. They
So-
did not want to even give Kansas City the chance. They were ready to die on that hill.
So it'd have been
Love
nice
that.
to see that if it would have gone to that for a win or lose situation right there for the 2 point. But I think that was our game of the week. Even the Friday night game was a good one. I
Not
think-
Sunday night by far.
Yeah, not Sunday night. And I think one of you guys called out the Jets San Francisco game. I don't know. I thought it was going to be good after the Jets drove down the field there on the third drive, but they didn't even much after that. So hopefully they turn it around and look better. But moving into this week, it's kind of looking at the matchups. There's not, I don't know, like, unless you're a fan of a team like, the Steelers come here to the Broncos, that's not that great of a game.
I don't know. I'm
know,
excited
It'd be
for it.
more interesting
There's-
if Russ starts.
Yeah, I agree. And he comes into Denver and throws 4 touchdowns and they just beat him
He's
up. And,
ducking Denver so hard.
yeah, and they're paying him money to come in there and beat him. But I don't know. The game of the week for me this week is the Buccaneers and the Lions rematch playoffs last year. Both teams coming off week 1 wins. Brandon, earlier you were touching base on Baker Mayfield, early MVP. I mean, his week one, he's got guys around him. He's got receivers, Evans, Godwin. They're still there from the Super Bowl
I
with
think
Tom
Godwin
Brady.
has a massive year this year.
I think so too. I'm hoping I got White. I got him in my other league. He did pretty good for me the first week. They still got K Doughton. I know he didn't do much. Either did many tight ends this week, but should be a good game. I don't know. See if Baker can do it 2 weeks in a row. Um, Maybe Jared Goff has a better game, but thing
Who's your pick for the game?
it's a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Lions. I don't know. I just think David Montgomery. I know you guys everyone's so high on Jameer Gibbs, and he's a great running back. And even with Detroit, they underutilized DeAndre Swift. Um, I just think David Montgomery is going to get so much share there and there's a reason he's good. Like it's not like he's
Who's good?
you know a bum, so he's good. I think the Lions are going to take it, but should be good. I don't know. I mean, Bucks come out and they can think score with anyone this year. So I think a full year under Baker, getting that contract, having a baby, feeling a little bit more comfortable. So I think him and Evans and Godwin could have big years. And speaking of Mike Evans, he's on a pace this year if he gets 1,000 yards for 11 straight seasons.
That's
You guys,
insane.
Yes, sir.
and is
I
that
hope he
to
does.
tie? Is that to tie or break Jerry Rice? Do you know?
Fact check that. Anybody? We'll check that out. But
I
I hope he gets it, man.
I hope
I
he
don't
does.
know.
I
Yeah,
hope he
I do
does
too.
too.
Absolutely.
But I think he will. Knock on
14.
wood. What's that?
14 by Jerry Rice.
14. All right. So,
Thank you, Brandon.
but I mean, 11 straight is pretty impressive, and he's had
That's
a
incredible.
pretty great career. Especially he hasn't played with the best quarterbacks. I mean, he played with another dude who held a record, Jameson Winston, the only guy at the part of the 30-30 club, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. Not a
Which
club
is insane.
not a club you don't want to be a part of. So, um, I don't know. Yeah, good on him, and he stuck it out with Tampa Bay, and I mean, he got to win a Super Bowl with them, and obviously, I'm sure he saw something in Baker Mayfield that made him want to stay there instead of maybe trying to go chase a Super Bowl somewhere else and maybe not be the number one guy. So we'll see. I don't know. Should be a good game, and hopefully we'll get to talk about it a little bit next week. And then
I agree.
Well,
Yeah,
what do you guys think? Who do you guys got for the game?
Go ahead, Brandon.
I think your game's up there. I think the other game I'm really looking to watch is the Rams and Cardinals. I think that'll be entertaining. Maybe even Thursday night with the Bills and Dolphins. Some in division games.
I agree.
Early in the season, be fun to watch.
Who do you have winning that game? The Bucks and Lions.
I like the Lions. I do, but I mean Baker's balling, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them win by a field goal or something like that.
Yep. What about for you, Cody?
Yeah, I was gonna. Brandon, you said it. The Bills Dolphins. I think that's going to be a great game, and I think Miami takes it. I've got a coworker of mine that's a diehard Bills fan. He said the East runs through the Bills now. I said I don't think so anymore, man. Not this year. So I'm looking forward to watching that. Obviously, that's the first game we're going to get this week. So another Thursday night game. I'm stoked for it. Go Dolphins. I'm in that bandwagon for sure. But as far as the Bucks Lions, I'm also going to take the Lions, but I'll be honest, at home, just seeing that atmosphere last week and how passionate Detroit is, they're coming off of a big win. I think the Lions, I think they shit on them. I don't think it's going to be that close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think the Lions handle business. And all this talk about big, I think we're going to have a different conversation about Baker next week.
Are we sure you're not just taking the Dolphins because OBJ's over there now?
Okay. All right. He's barely over there. You guys think I'm such a stan because I have 2 OBJ jerseys. Like, calm down.
I gotta give you a little bit of shit up for it.
Hmm. It's OBJ.
I do love OBJ though.
Mr. One Play Wonder.
One play wonder. You're ridiculous. Did you? I'm not even going to get into this with you. I'm really not. I'm not going to do this.
We've already
You're not
touched
baiting
base
me
on
into
this.
debate right
We've already
now.
touched base on this. If you want to go look at our OBJ, go
You
look
are
at
not
previous
baiting me into
episodes.
this debate right now. He was great. He was great. He had, you know what? I'm not doing it. Whatever.
Hey, he's out of New York. So
He's known for
him.
one catch. I agree. Move on.
That's it. Let's talk about some of these rookies. Let's touch base on this. So obviously, let's just do a quarterback comparison. Week 1, who you like? You know what? I'm gonna do a version of fuck Mary Kill. Right? Let's do this. Caleb, Bo, and Jaden Daniels. Keep, bench, and drop. Or start, bench, drop. Let's do something like that. Fuck Mary Kill. I don't know exactly how to say it. Football terms. Jordan, what you think?
I'm going I'm starting Jaden McDaniels. I'm benching Caleb Williams, and sorry, Bo, but this ain't the preseason anymore, bud. So those are my 3. At least Jaden got in the end zone twice carrying it. Then Caleb threw for like 93 yards. Like Aaron Rodgers almost had as many on that one drive.
His
So-
QBR was 55.1.
Yeah, so I mean, he didn't win that game. The defense won, and Bo Nix, man, I've lived in Colorado long enough. I like the Broncos. I want to see them do good, and I was excited for Sunday, and I'm really not that excited to watch another game now. So that's where I'm at.
Let's
about
pass
for
it
you?
over to our Broncos enthusiast over here.
Here we go.
Cody.
Yeah.
Let me complicate this a little bit. Are we talking fantasy specific?
Just in general.
Just in general?
Just in general.
Oh man, this is so tough. I like all 3 of them, honestly. I really do. So I think come week 5 or 6, Caleb's going to find his rhythm and he's going to figure out what works for him. And the coaching staff is going to figure out what plays work for him. And I think he's going to be great. I really do. I feel the same way about the other 2 guys, which was what makes this tough. That being said, I don't think Bo Nix is ever going to be that guy that is slinging it down the field accurately and moving the ball. It's going to be design plays that are getting 4 and 5 yards at a time so that we can get the first down. So it's going to be a cut for me too. Between Jaden and Caleb, man, I think I like the situation that Caleb is in more than I do Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels more as a player, but I think they are investing a lot into the development of Caleb Williams, and I think he has better weapons. So I'm going to go ahead and start Caleb Williams and bench Jaden Daniels.
That's where I'm at. I think Caleb has more weapons, more tools in his toolbox that he can utilize. As the season progresses, it'll be better for him. He'll find
Chicago needs him to succeed, and they're going to do whatever it takes for him to succeed.
That's a tough division, man. That
Yes,
is
it is.
Oh yeah,
tough division that they're in now. I mean, Detroit's pick. It's not so easy to get wins against Detroit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No one's getting those, 2 wins a year playing Detroit in the division. So, I think, yeah, I would start Caleb. I would bench Jaden. And sorry, Bo, but you gotta go.
I hate it. That makes me want to cry. Come on, Broncos.
Come on, Bo
Figure it
Nix.
out.
I'm sorry, but I think Jarrett Stidham
Fix the fix.
is so much better than Bo.
No, stop it.
Stidham's a stud, dude. That's just my thoughts.
Just because he played on the Patriots, come on.
He looked good when he was there. I
Looked
just want to
decent.
say
I'll
it.
give it that. I mean, he looked better than Bo Nix did in week 1, but
Both of you stop it.
It's that rookie rust. So hopefully
He'll be
that'll
fine.
brush off, and
He'll be
as
fine.
things go, the season progresses, these guys will find their rhythm. But with that being said, anything you guys have left to say on?
That's all I got.
Oh, that's all I
That's it,
got.
man.
All right. Well,
no.
if you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, be sure to hit that follow button.
Good luck to waivers.
Good
for
luck
you
on the
guys.
waivers.
Oh yeah. How much money you guys spending tonight?
$100.
Yeah, I bet you
No,
are.
no more
No.
than 11.
Nope. I'm not spending all my money. I need it in case something happens. But with that being said, we will see you guys next week. Until then, peace.
See you guys.
Later.